sometimes when you make YouTube videos, you think, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't know why I'm trying to say it. But today, everything, all the sort of wargaming gods all tumbled onto me. And this is crackers, what happens. But anyway, I'll tell you in a minute. I'm Galen. Hey! Galen's got Parkinson's. Woohoo! Yeah, and here we are. And thank you for being there. Nice to see you. So I thought a lot of people have said, you keep telling us, showing us your figures, and you keep talking about the games and things. What about rules? Be specific. Show us the evidence. Give us the receipts, as I've heard other YouTubers say. Okay, I will. But then, this is the crackers bit. I got a comment from Robert on, if you go to like Heroes of Wargaming, and I did one about a gentleman who was very influential to me because he was influential in the world of Wargames Research Group. And Robert contacted me and he said he's still in touch with Phil Barker. And apparently Phil is in his 90s now and still painting and still enjoying the hobby. So a shout out to Phil, that's brilliant. A lot of you youngsters and a lot of you who are not historical gamers might not understand the importance of that, but that's where we began. When I went to my first Wargames club, 1972, as I've mentioned before, everyone was playing Napoleonic. You didn't have to play Napoleonic. There were English Civil War, there was Ancients, there was Medieval. Gary Gygax was a medieval wargamer. But our club in Doncaster were playing Napoleonic. And they were using, as was everybody, whatever period you did, they were using WRG, Wargames Research Group. And it's a big thick tome with lots of stuff in, interesting charts and bits and bobs. But there was a card, and on the card was everything you needed. Then the Napoleonic one was pink. The Ancients one was a sort of beige colour. And you would look down, because there was a lot of charts. So, for example, if you had a band of troops, and you want to charge another band of troops, you go to a chart, and it says, are you going downhill? Have you got friends within 12 inches? Are people within 12 inches running away? Have you suffered this number of casualties? Then you throw an average dice, plus and minus, because you might have some random bonus or random minus. The ground might be muddy. Things you couldn't sort of naturally write into a war game scenario, because being a war game umpire isn't like being a Dungeons and Dragons master DM, where you can control pretty much everything. Wargamers, historical wargamers, need a degree of structure that's more to do with the historical period and the countryside, the weather, the time of year. They can't really make things up the same. It has to be in the rules. So the nice thing about Wargames Research Group back in the 70s and the 60s was that everybody played it. If you went to a Wargames convention, you went to a club, or you went to another club, and we used to do that quite a lot, we all could play Wargames Research Group. We weren't saying, oh, what rules do you play? Nowadays, folk do, don't they? There's, wait, what system are you playing? Even Dungeons and Dragons, what edition are you playing? No. We're on a game, fantastic. Get the Wargames Research Group out. Okay, I know that. And it had its flaws. It was complicated. I mean, you're talking about adding percentages to things and minusing things. Even when I first started my first Napoleonic games, one man wasn't one man. One man was 33 men. So if you've got 4 casualties, you have to have a big piece of paper. You have to write, the third voltigeurs have lost 4 33rds. You didn't take a figure off until you got to 33 33rds. Then you took a figure off. And then later on it became one figure equaled 15. But it meant that you could have massive thousands of men on a battlefield. I've played rules where at 6mm, where 4 little blocks of men, each block is an inch square, and it represents like 10,000 men. So you had that upscale way of working. Fantasy, you don't need that, do you? Because it's 1 versus 1, really. But even in some of the other historical games, where they're trying to say, look, this is a bit more liberal, this is a bit more, yeah, it could be fantasy. But what you end up with is 1 fantasy character and 9 friends who were with him, who were all, funnily enough, get killed before he does, because he's always the last one killed. Or in the Osprey games, you have units of 12. But if men get killed, you throw, so you've got 6 men killed, you throw 2 d6. If it's a double one of them is the officer. So the odds are the officer's going to be the last man in that unit every time. Everyone around him gets killed. What's happened? And so I've survived again. Hey, woo! Can I go up a level? Yeah, I'm not being cynical. I'm trying to be entertaining. I'm going to do some soot juggling, or a ferret down my trousers, as us Yorkshmen are likely to do. Do some tap dancing. No, last time I did any tap dancing, I fell in the sink. So anyway, back to wargaming. We also used things like this. I had this when I was at school, and I love this. And it's really pretty much, hello, idiot, you don't know how to wargame. This is what you do. So you start with everything. This is really Napoleonic or later. So you've got scale, you've got, even tells you how to make hills by shoving books under a cloth. I mean, seriously, you know, that's the level we were at. We didn't even think we could do that. But the charts for injuries, are you ready? Look like this. Yeah, I know. Rapid fire, which is the World War II system I use now, has a very similar system to that. It's on a nice piece of A4 coloured graphic with highlighters, and it's all laminated. But it's basically that sheet, really. It's doing the same thing. Now, I enjoyed Wargames Research Group. The rules are very strict. Do this, do this, do this, and we all do it. And we all understand it. And it's historically based, and it makes sense. Okay? Morale, range, everything makes sense. But then, and partly because I lived in the north of England, Yorkshire, and near us in Hull was a gentleman called Bill Lamming. Now, Bill came up with a new system, which I started to play, and again, before I did Dungeons and Dragons. So we're talking, I was at 6th form, because in the 6th form we had this sixth form unit, and it was ours. So we had a little kitchen, and we had top tables and comfy chairs, and we had a bit where we could have discos, and we had a snooker table. We had one of them, you know, those computer things like ping pong, orange. You go beep, beep, and the ball went beep, beep, well, a little square. It went beep. So we used to play all that for hours instead of doing any work. We were supposed to be getting ready for our A-levels, but myself and a mate and 2 young ladies who, for various reasons, were prepared to put up with us, used to play Bill Lamming's medieval game in the 6th form. So that's like 16 to 18 years old. But what I like about this with Bill is this is getting now towards fantasy and character creation. So what Bill says is, let's imagine that you are a lord. Okay, so Dungeons and Dragons terms, I can see that where that's going, and I command 3 viscounts, and 9 barons. That's my retinue. That's my little lordship. And it says here, I'm going to read it to you. Okay, a viscount is allowed a maximum of 3 units, 1 heavy, 1 medium, 1 light, and a following of 9 knights. A baron is allowed 2 units, but none may be heavy, and he gets 6 knights. And then you've got freemen and peasants taken from homeland, go of their own accord. The maximum available to each family, which is my lord, is 1,000 free men and 5,000 peasants. So from that, I can work out, and I'm not asking, don't do it now, but you could then say, okay, my lord he's got his little castle, and the point is you're going to go to an unknown island. And eventually, all you and all your friends build on the island, and you bump into each other, and then you start saying, you've got lots of stone. I ain't got no stone, but I've got lots of wood. And that must be reminding you of certain computer games and board games that have come much later. But we ended up with then our armies, and they would eventually, because we were wargamers, go to war with each other. And later on, when I was at college and first married, my wife and I played this game. Her army they had green shields. My knight he had a yellow shield with a red upside down V chevron, and that's what his men had. We used Bill Lamming's game, but that was a lot freer. And by that time, Dungeons and Dragons had popped up. So we were now becoming heroic characters, and our Dungeons and Dragons characters, who were playing Dungeons and Dragons modules, like the village of Homlet, were from the family of our baron. So we then began to pull Dungeons and Dragons rules into the Bill Lamming rules. We sort of abandoned Wargames Research Group Medieval. I had the rules for Medieval, but I liked the Lamming system. So they were a mad dash through the rules we ruled with. What am I saying? I don't know what I'm saying. So I hope that's fun. I'm getting scared now, because for like over a year I've made 600-700 videos, and the most people that watch them is about 5. Suddenly a lot of people are watching them, and a lot of you are commenting. I'm terrified now that I'm going to do something like this and everyone's going to go, oh my word, what's he done? Unsubscribe, run away, flee. But I can't not be me, so I hope I'm still doing whatever on earth it is you're subscribing for. And thank you so much. You are making a happy man feel very old. I love you. Choke.